My role was again the compiler. I'll show you a picture of it in a minute. But also a language called the alpha language for the code breakers to use, and it was a perfect match for, again, for this very special purpose machine, and in that it the code breakers could write their code very clearly, very succinctly, their algorithms, and have it mapped to the machine, this very special machine, and in a very short few lines of code. I was recently in an looked to see how many lines of code would it take to do a DNA mapping if one had the system and had the alpha language, and it was about 15 to do a total DNA mapping. Now, we don't have languages like that anymore, or not many of them that are so high level and so very special purpose. The pattern of this compiler, being able to take multiple source languages, very different source languages, Fortran, a business language, COBOL was popular. It was sort of like COBOL, and the alpha language, which was the language that the agency wanted, and then doing a formal analysis, going down to an intermediate form, going through optimization and transformations, and then on an intermediate form that could represent all of the source languages, and then mapping those to the two different target machines. So what were the outcomes of this project? The president of the company, Tom Watson, had announced 100 times goal on this project, and then he had to apologize to the world. And in fact, the Fortran compiler, which should have been the simplest part of it, was also failed in terms of how for another customer it took. This was for weather forecasting. It took 18 hours to do a 24-hour forecast. It was both the machine was not as fast as it was supposed to be, and the compiler was not as fast as it didn't produce good code as it was supposed to. But we were inventing everything, and it was a group of very young people and no experience. And there wasn't any experience to be had anyway. We wouldn't have taken on this project, I think, if we knew what we didn't know. I might say, as far as the compiler was concerned and the project itself, there were many women involved, and there were four of us were first-line managers on the compiler, and 3 of us were women, and this is in late 50s. So, but computer science didn't exist yet.